Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about using for each and copy activities to archive files in Azure Data Lake. So if we go to the data lake, here I have two folders. One is working folder, the other one is the archive folder. And then we have the pipeline here that copies the products and orders into the working folder here, into the working folder here. When they run, they copy the products data and orders data into CSV files on Azure Data Lake and into the working folder. So the objective here is to create another activity here to archive the files, archive these files and put them into the archive folder. The reason is that usually there are cases that after we copy the files from SQL Server or from any other source uh, places into Azure Data Lake, we uh, we want to process them. And for example, we load them into a data warehouse. And in the working folder here, we only want to keep 1 day of data, but we don't want to lose the data. We don't want to, because every day when it runs, new files come and will override the old files, and then we're losing 1 day of data. Over the time, we're going to lose a lot of data. So that's why we may want to create a archiving mechanism like this. We can create another folder, and then we can copy these files into the archive folder. So what we can do is that we can create another. First, we create a dataset, create a new dataset, and that's from the data lake. I have CSV files, so we'll call it archive. Right, and that's just do it here. I'm going to add a parameter, a file name parameter. This parameter will be provided. The value of this parameter will be provided in the pipeline. And here we want to select the archive folder, and over here we select the parameter. So this tells the dataset that when the pipeline runs, the parameter that is provided to the dataset will be concatenated to the archive folder, and then it become a file name. So when we come back to the pipeline here, we can add a for each activity, which is under the iteration, and add for each activity, and go to settings. Here we can use a split function to split the CSV file names into an array. So we're using the comma to separate them. So that's why I provide the comma as the second parameter. And then once we've done this, we'll go inside the for each loop and put a copy activity here. And here we are going to select the source, which is the destination of the pipeline that we just saw, which is this pipeline, the destination of these two activities. But when we go up here, that destination becomes the source. which is the working folder, right? So we go here and come over here and we select the destination. And we need to provide the file name. Now, what is the file name? The file name is the item that we're looping through, the current item. So we can do this to provide the file name. And what is the sink? The sink is the archive folder. And inside the sink, inside the archive folder, we also need to specify the file name, which is this one. So when we save it, and go back to the pipeline, connect this to this. Now, when the products as well as the orders are being finished, copying, the copy activity is finished, it will go to the for each loop, and it will loop through the file names, and then it will trigger the copy activity for each one of them, and copy the file one by one from the working folder to the archive folder. And let's see it in action. Let me save it again. There's some changes in the pipeline. Okay, let's see it in action. So started debugging the pipeline, and now it's copying the product. While it's being copied, let's go back to the archive folder and check that whether, so in the archive folder, there are no files here just yet. And we come back to the pipeline and check the progress. See, the products are being copied to the working folder, and now it's copying the orders, and it's done. Now it's running the for each loop, and everything succeeded. So when we come back to the archive folder, refresh it, see, so I go back to the root folder and go back from the root folder, go to the archive folder. Now we have two files here. These are the archived files, and these are the working files, and they have different timestamps. So this is 508 latest, and this is 509. So what if we want to? So this is good enough, but sometimes we want to, because every day we may be receiving these files from the source, and when we receive it, we override it. So when we archive, if we keep dumping the files into the same folder, then we're going to override them again. So what we usually want to do is to partition them by time. So we want to create folders like year, months, and day folders, and place the files into each one of the daily folders. So to do that, we go back here, and we want to go to the destination dataset, the archive dataset, and we want to change the file name here, just so that, well, actually, we want to change this archive folder here so that we can create that time partition folder structure. So we go here and click on the Add Dynamic Content, and we can use some functions here. Let's see whether we have this UTC now, and we have the format date time, and we put the archive first, and then we put the slash here, and then we can use the date function like this. Right, and then here we can call the UTC now and format into the day, and then we do a slash, we copy this and over and create the month part, and then another folder here, and this is the day part, and then we finish it and save it. Now when the pipeline runs and archive the data, archive the files, it will split the it will actually copy the files into its own date folder. And let's see that in action. First of all, we go to archive folder, and I want to delete them just so that we can have a clear test result. Now we don't see any folders here, right? When it runs, it's going to create the folders if the folders don't exist. So we don't have to manually come here and create the day folders. So let's go to here, the pipeline, and let's run the pipeline again. This time it's going to use the new archive dataset. All right, so it's finished. Let's go to the folder here and go to the root just to refresh it and go back to the archive. Now we see the year folder here. We'll drill down, we see the month folder, and which today is November 1st, and then we see the files. Okay, so that's everything that I want to show today. I hope it's very helpful, and if you like it, please give a thumb up and subscribe, please. Thank you very much.